Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday, July 14th, 2015, 6 p.m. Town Board meeting is called to order. First item on our agenda is going to be the Pledge of Allegiance. And Bill Clendenny, would you lead us tonight?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 2, approval of the agenda for the meeting. Any changes? Hearing none. Item 3, approve minutes of June 9th and June 10th, Town Board minutes. Motion Bill or Dan, and second Dan. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Item 4, public comment period. People wishing to address the board or the camera are limited to 2 minutes each. Public comment period will not exceed 30 minutes. Anybody in the audience wish to speak to the board? Or go ahead, ma'am. State your name.
My name is Kathy Stebbins-Hintz, and I am the Director of Curriculum and Instruction for Wisconsin Rapids Schools, as well as the principal over here at River City's High School, just across the street. I'm also a resident of Grand Rapids. And I'm just here to share some good news with you tonight. Every year at the River City's High School graduation, we graduate between 50 to 70 kids, depending upon the year, which is a really wonderful thing. We also give out some awards, and one of the awards we do give out is called the Phoenix Award. And if you're familiar at all with the mythical bird, the phoenix, it's a bird who actually rises from it actually kills itself and then rises back from the ashes to live again. And that is actually the mascot at River Cities, because our kids often come from very difficult situations, and with the help of others and the support of others, we hope that they can be successful and graduate from high school and live productive lives. And this year, I just came here tonight to tell you, and I don't know, Mel knows that's the reason I'm here, but the person who received the Phoenix Award this year was Chief Pedersen. Chief Pedersen accepted the award on stage at graduation, and the reason we gave him the award this year is because of all he has done for us and our kids at River Cities. Whether it's working with our staff on safety plans, helping us with the truancy ordinance, which we're grateful to you for putting into place, working with kids in emergency situations, or just the whole department, the whole Grand Rapids Police Department. The officers have come over, had lunch with the kids, and Chief Pedersen has let that happen so that our kids are building positive relationships with police officers, and oftentimes, unfortunately, our kids at River Cities don't have such positive relationships. So I wanted you as a town board to be aware of that, and I appreciate all your work on the town board, and I appreciate you having a chief that works with us and works with our kids at River Cities.
Thank you so much. You're not speechless, are you, Mel?
Thank you.
Appreciate that very much. It's formative. Anybody else wish to speak to the board this evening? Mr. Ronhead?
I may have some help for you on item 10 if, based on that discussion, rolls around.
Sure.
If that would be acceptable.
Sure. Anybody else? Hearing not, we'll move to regular agenda items. Chief Don Bone for the fire department is not here this evening. He is in school in Marshfield, learning a state-supported software package that will allow us to discontinue a yearly fee of $700 to fire side for reporting services. So there'll be savings of $700 a year to our budget. And he's eagerly grasping the program, is what he says. All right, so we'll move on to Police Department, then Mel Pedersen.
Good evening, everyone. Glad to see everybody here. Like it is. So, okay, for the month of June, Grand Rapids Police Department handled 409 calls for service, and that compared to 410 last year, so say about the same as last year. And the town board members have a breakdown of those calls. The police department issued 34 written warnings, 15 municipal ordinance citations, and 42 traffic citations during last month. On June 10th, Officer Kubishik and Officer Arndt attended a heroin and prescription drug investigation and prosecution training at North Central Technical College in Wausau. This was some free training put on by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Wisconsin, DEA, and the Wisconsin Department of Justice, their Division of Criminal Investigations. And like the title says, it focused on heroin and prescription drug investigations and prosecutions. And I think it's relatively well known that that's probably one of the biggest issues we have throughout Wisconsin. And now they're finally saw a report out just a couple days ago that even across the nation, the people are starting to wake up just the issue that it is. The Grand Rapids Police Auxiliary assisted with the 5th Annual Renaissance Race Against Cancer 5K Walk Run on Saturday, June 13th. They assisted with traffic control on the portion of the route that was used through the town of Grand Rapids. Despite the rain, Renaissance was able to donate $28,000 to the UW Riverview Cancer Center. They also, the Grand Rapids Auxiliary also assisted with the Southwood County YMCA Triathlon, which was on Saturday, June 27th. Again, they assisted with traffic control on the bicycle route portion of the triathlon. And as many of you can recall from last year's event, when they didn't coordinate with any law enforcement, this year it was very well coordinated. And we had all the players on board ourselves, Wood County, Wood Rescue, United Ambulance. So this year it went off pretty much without a hitch, and I think the event organizers realized that what can be accomplished when it's well coordinated like it was. June 17th, 18th, and 22nd, I completed the standard field sobriety test training at Mid-State Technical College. It's a 24-hour training for certification in the proper administration of standard field sobriety tests for suspected operating while intoxicated traffic stops. As you can imagine, the process has changed dramatically back when I first started this, so it was really good to go through that and get to know some of the, I passionately refer to them as the kids that are going to be coming up and working in law enforcement. So most of them were young enough to be my kids or even grandkids at some point. But it's very, very nice to go through that training. Had a comment on here, the vehicles department are doing well outside normal routine maintenance. Well, that kind of changed today. The radio in our 2010 Tahoe decided to quit. It had a fatal failure. So right now that squad's out of service because there's no radio, and associated with the radio is all the electronics for the siren and stuff. So Northway Communications up in Wausau, they're trying to find us a loaner to get us through the remainder of the year, and then budget time we'll have to discuss about hopefully replacing that radio. Again, anybody feel free to stop by anytime, or if you see me out on the street, feel free to come up and talk to me, whatever you need, whatever you have on your mind. Any questions?
Any questions? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Treasurer's report. Chris Gunter, what do you got for us today, Chris?
Some numbers.
Numbers. Positive ones?
Sure. At the end of June, our total cash on hand was $1,117,281, consisting of 2 accounts at Wood Trust Bank. Our checking account had $127,500, and our repo sweep account had $730,978. We have a money market at River Cities that has $312,000, and we had outstanding checks at $53,000. The current month of June receipts were $49,939.28. Some of the larger items that we receipted during the month were recycling grant for $13,370, and we received some fire department 2% dues of $21,600. Our disbursements were $205,978. Some things that we paid were our monthly bill of advanced disposal, $33,252. City of Wisconsin Rapids, we paid them $17,290 for compost passes that we've been collecting for them. FAE, fire apparatus and equipment capital outlay purchase for the truck at $15,955. And Bone Trucking bought some road base for $4,700. So just a little recap there. And our revenues are at 66.5% of our budget for the year, and our expenses are currently at 54%. That's all we got.
Any questions? Thank you, Chris.
You bet.
All right, item 6 is approval of a revised water event permit for a world record water ski attempt on August 29th to extend the closure of the lake to include the full day. Their permit actually said until 3 p.m. Judy, is that what it was?
Yes.
And they want to extend
Maggie
it
is
to dusk
here.
to dusk?
Yeah, Maggie
Dusk
is
to
here.
dusk?
Yep.
Dawn to dusk, there we go.
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion by Bill, seconded by Dan to make the correction from dawn to dusk on the permit. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? Go get it.
Well, I'd
Public
like to
Works.
thank you very much. It's going to be a very interesting day to invite you all to come.
We will be there.
We're trying to make it a bigger event, try and have food, small beer tent, have some of the community groups make some money, and put on a nice exhibition. We'll have several different exhibitions. Besides the big pole, there'll be several other tries for world record attempts, and there'll be some adaptive skiing for the handicapped and some other things going on. So, and at the end of the night, those 6 teams are going to get together and they're going to put on a ski show.
All right.
That's why we wanted the later time, so it should be really, really fun.
That really sounds
What
cool.
night is that one going to be with the 6 teams? Is that Saturday night or Sunday night?
Saturday.
It's just Saturday.
The 29th.
Okay.
Maggie, if you guys put together like a press release or a little thing,
We'll definitely be doing that.
send it over
Okay.
and we can get it out on our Facebook and on our website and
Okay.
try to help promote it a little bit.
Perfect, thank
Maggie,
you.
what other countries are coming around to this
Oh, for
area?
next, in 2016?
For the
For
world?
the
For the
world.
world.
That one is September 9th through 11th in 2016. Right now, we know for sure that Belgium, Australia, Canada, and Team USA. China is probably there, but they're the trouble child. It's hard to get answers from them. We're trying to get Germany, but we haven't heard anything from them yet. But just with the 5 teams, it's pretty impressive. I've seen it before. And the pageantry and everything is going to be really outstanding. Something you've never seen in a ski show around here before.
So, it's a celebration of 50th, right?
And next year, next year is going to be a big year for the aqua skiers. It's going to be our 50th anniversary of the tournament that we're holding this weekend. So it'll be our 50th anniversary for that. And then we go into hosting the international tournament in September. To go along with that, and Bill knows this, I've requested from Wood County that I put in for a historical marker for the park to commemorate Jack Lukes as being the father of the water ski tournament, because this international tournament pretty much wouldn't be going on unless Jack Lukes started the first Wisconsin state.
Yep.
You know, maybe somebody else would have thought of it later, but Jack was the first one that thought of it. Jack passed away last year, so we'd like to put up something commemorative for Jack and for the tournament, being that we've hosted it for 50 years and it's been at Lake Wazeecha for 38. So we
Is there
hope to
a fund-
keep that.
Is there a fundraiser for that? How are you paying for that?
At the tournament this year, we're going to be selling these blue bracelets. They say water skiing equals fun and people. That was the saying that Jack always said, and then it's got his birth dates and Jack, I think, somewhere. Yeah, his birth and final date on it. And they're selling them just for $1 a piece at the tournament this weekend. So, and then we're going to be doing 50-50 raffles at the tournament this weekend to fund that. So. Even if the Historical Society says no to us, we will be putting something up.
Okay.
Just one more thing. I understand that the beer tent is real short on recyclable containers.
We got Veolia to bring in some big greens.
Oh, but, so advanced disposal, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you guys come in.
Yeah, right. We are in, and we're bringing
Yeah.
probably a dozen or half a dozen.
Yeah. And then, Veolia or Advanced will bring in, it's either 4 or 6.
Right.
So we should be good, hopefully. The only other thing we can do, Bill, is try fencing.
Yeah.
But then
This
you have to pick
is
it up.
working already.
So,
Thanks a lot, Nick.
thank you very much.
Bye-bye, thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
All right, that was item 6, and we'll move to item 7. It's approval of an event permit for Color for Kids. Fun Fest 5K Run Walk will be at the Lions. This will be for the foundation of St. Joseph Hospital. The Color Walk, it's a small portion of the town road where they cross 32nd Street, and that's been looked at by Chief Pedersen, and that's covered with some, hopefully, auxiliaries help. They will then clean up the excess powder as it gets on the walkway, whatever, before. Did anybody see anything on their permit that had any concerns? It was pretty well written, the insurance.
We're still waiting for that? We're still waiting on the certificate, yes.
You didn't have any concerns, Mel, I assume? Okay. Do we want to make a conditionary approval with acceptance of the proper insurance?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve the foundation for St. Joe's Hospital Fun Run Walk with the condition that they provide insurance.
Okay. A motion, Dan, second, Kathy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Item 8, approval of safety awards for employees. Chris, were you on that? Or who was on that?
Well, I
Kathy?
asked Chris to look into that for us. It was part of our personnel committee meeting. We had discussed the award. This had come up last fall, that the town received a safety check for approximately $5,600. And you all may recall that we had decided to just wait for a moment until personnel committee deemed itself not needing to meet, and then we would discuss what to do with that. So Dan and I had talked about it, and we had asked Chris to look into some costs of ideas from Sully's, where we received the safety award shirts and logoed shirts and logoed jackets and bags and such, to get some ideas. What Dan and I wanted to do was then to bring it to the board to act on approving or not an award to the regular full-time and regular part-time employees is what the intent was. Because of the amount, it's different than what the last time when we had more. And Chris found several ideas of items from sweatshirts to polos to denim shirts to t-shirts, and they range in that $15 to $35 range. You could also go up into jackets, which is close around a $40 range. So I guess I was hoping that we would have a conversation then about, where do we want to move forward with this? I think Dan and I were supportive of seeing that the employees would receive at least one item, and then it's just a matter of up to what dollar amount do we want to go with.
What's your count on full and part-time? That's your count?
Yeah, that was my first question.
Oh, boy.
Well, if you're not talking, again, and we're not talking the fire department at all, we should be 14.
We weren't
And the
talking part-time police.
Not part-time police?
We weren't. no.
Okay, then you're talking like 14.
Yeah, we were thinking regular full-time employees, and then it was Chris
So it's
office.
even at the top end of the $40 range.
13 with Larry gone. So there's 13.
That's just a hair over $500 at the $40, which was the top of your cap. Do you want to consider something in the middle of that, or you?
$500.
That's about 10% of what we received in safety reimbursement.
Because with the news of the radio too, and for the police car, that's another thing that we could utilize at $5,600 for.
Well, Mel's,
And,
go ahead.
because Mel had mentioned wait till next year at budget time, which if we have this now, that would be something that we could take care of that issue now.
Yeah.
Well, technically, you received this money
Last year, right?
last year.
Yeah. So
Okay.
technically, it's in our contingency fund.
Oh, I
That
see.
money that's sitting there.
Which is just
We can do,
your general fund.
right, yeah, we can do as.
And the other thing, if we really need the radio, I mean, Mel's budget for fuel is way down considerably. I'm thinking you're only running about 30% of his budget. I'm sure there's a few $1,000s in there that could be, I wouldn't say siphoned off, but.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Pushing those squads around, yeah.
Yeah.
But if we need a radio, I won't let it run without a radio. I'll buy it myself.
Yeah.
Bill?
I'm hoping to wait on the radio only because if we do replace that vehicle next year, I don't want to put it in and then have to yank it right back out in a few months. So if they can give us a loaner, that's best case scenario
Oh, I see.
to get us through. So they seem pretty confident they could find a loaner for us. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Chief, did Don have anything over there that we had pulled up? Do you know that? It was compatible.
I was going to talk to Don because, you know, we took that one out of the Yukon. You know, that might be a possibility, but I don't know if he did something. If he put that in another vehicle, maybe.
He may have, we'll have to check with him in the morning.
Yeah.
Bill, you had your hand?
Yeah, in 2013 is the first year we did this, right? And we included 2014, we didn't do anything. You know, this may sound cruel, but, you know, there's other way of rewarding employees, and that's with comp time off or floating holiday. You know, I just have a hard time giving out these so-called gifts, taxpayers' money. And there's other ways to treat our employees for good service and good record. We used to do it in the mill. They used to give us prizes if we didn't have lost timers and things like that. And of course, we were under OSHA regulations. And it was unlawful to give the employees gifts for being good. And we did have a couple of claims, you know, but we're going to reward those people anyways. You know, I say, this is taxpayers' money, and I think if we want to reward our employees for good work and good service, we should give them time off because that's a benefit.
I think it wouldn't matter either way, but whether we give them comp time off, that's still using taxpayers' money because we're still going to pay them. So regardless of which option, yeah, that I think that's not something we can avoid. If you don't want to address that, this is premium monies that we paid in, and because of their safe behaviors, it would be nice to be able to, we talked about if the logos would acknowledge that it's because of safe practices, and I know that, like Bill mentioned, that at the mills and such, they would do those kinds of things and say, how many years safe, or how many whatever safe. Well, this is not exactly tied
Correct.
to the same concept, so we were just,
It's not lost work days.
right.
Okay, so it's not an illegal practice to be able to issue these type of gifts for safe practices? You know, like Bill was mentioning that the mills had.
That's the first I've heard of that.
Stop that.
I've never heard of it.
We can have
Can
the
we
attorney
take-
check.
We could
Yes.
check first.
Because I did not know that fact.
I don't think it's illegal. I don't think it's illegal doing this.
That's what you said.
But, okay, all right.
Did you?
Well, we were confused because that is what you
Well,
said.
I'm
Bill,
trying
so
to understand it,
We're just trying
though.
to clarify, that's all.
I'm just saying, OSHA told us we couldn't do that. You know, reward people for going safe, because that prevents people from turning things in. You know, turning in injury or something.
I understand how that
This
could be.
this is an insurance policy, really, it's just like payback. If you don't have an accident in your car, you'll get half the rate the next year. I just say, I think there's better ways of rewarding employees for their good work.
I guess I'm going to move to table this for back to committee, have further discussion, do a little more checking back.
Yeah, and,
Can we do that? I mean, I don't want to.
I'm not saying no by no means.
Yeah. Okay,
I want to kick some more ideas around,
that sounds good.
Some more ideas, meaning different other than-
approaches that,
well, I think we should also just check on the legality of it as well, that what Bill referenced, and make sure that there's nothing illegal about
anything's possible.
that process, so.
Is
Thank
there a
you.
second to my tabling?
Second.
Patty, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed?
No.
Mark it one no. Approval of treasurer Chris Skinner attending the Fall Treasurers Conference in La Crosse.
I'll make a motion to approve the training conference for Chris Ginter at the MTAW Fall Conference in La Crosse.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
I do. In regards to the mileage, if you would take the vehicle, is that still operable? That would eliminate the 107.10?
It
Is
would.
that possible?
I completely forgot that we have that vehicle.
Okay.
You're right. When I filled this out before the meeting, I just wasn't thinking
So
about it.
if it's available, she can take it and we'll just save the
That
money.
is correct,
Okay,
yes.
sounds good, thank you.
Any further discussion? And none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Discuss options for speed and traffic control on Wazeecha Avenue near White Sands Beach. I've had a couple calls with people with concerns on the children getting across the street. I believe Mel may or may not have had the same calls. So we're open to thought processes, what we could do, whether it's changing a speed limit, whether it qualifies to change the speed limit would be another thing. Then there's also the possibility of signs similar to what they use at school when children are present. I did check the legality of that today or yesterday, and it does meet within because it is a county park. So you could post those warning signs. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to slow down. So, Mel, what thoughts have you got?
Well, my thoughts initially when I came to you is just reducing that whole section to 25. Because if you go down each farther at 64th, it turns to 25 down there. And my thought process was, can we start it back on this side of the South Park entrance there, or North Park entrance, start that 25 mile an hour speed zone and get them slowed down before they get there. So that was kind of my thought process. And like Arnie said, we do take calls, vehicles speeding through there. And we do what we can for traffic enforcement through there, but unless we're right there, it's sometimes a hit and miss opportunity, so.
So would it actually start by Helke?
Well, it could. I mean, if you look at house counts per mile, and Ron, you may have some input on that. Is that your expertise that you had on how many houses had to be within a range in order to be able to be at 25?
You're right, there's criteria for it, but I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm guessing, what we wanted to do is have the board's knowledge of the interest of it, and then we would look to put this on the legislative committee meeting, the next one that we have, to have a full-blown discussion on it at that point in time. I could have all the measurements done and the speed qualifications and the driveway counts and all that done, and see what set of criteria it falls in, because it may or may not have enough driveway count to, however, it does have the park, which is a trump card as far as being able to identify it with any other types of warning signs. I mean, there is a crosswalk sign there now, but obviously, from some people's opinion, nobody's paying attention to it. So, just put that thoughts in your head for now. If you got any comments now, go ahead. If not, we'll send it to legislative.
I think we should stick it to legislative
I
and talk about it further. I can't
agree with
recall,
that.
I need to look back or think back on, we had the conversation about the speed there and why we didn't act on it the last time when we were reviewing zones, but
That's what I thought we had discussed.
I can't remember
putting that
why we
whole thing
didn't.
down.
Jenny, do you have them or not? No, you were, Bill?
Yeah, didn't at one time, because they sold that ice cream stand, I think it's still there, because there was an awful lot of traffic there, and I think somebody came here and asked. about-
That's probably why the crosswalk signs are there.
Yeah,
Makes good sense.
Ron?
Is the issue just at the crosswalk, or is it a longer stretch that the concern is for?
Primarily what I understood is from the people that called me, they were concerned where the kids were crossing. And children are supposed to be, escorted or whatever with a reasonable adult, but that's not always the case. If somebody says, go get an ice cream and sends a child to go, we don't know. So the reaction time, obviously, for somebody driving 35 miles an hour to driving 15 miles an hour is a lot different. So
Yeah, they aren't always crossing at the crosswalk, I guess.
that's true. They're crossing at the driveway.
So there's kind of a
Sad.
longer area rather than just at the crosswalk you're looking to.
Yeah, it's probably maybe a 200-foot area that they could be crossing.
And sadly, what I've seen, because I drive on that road quite a lot, and it's kids who are on their bike riding on the wrong side of the road, or people walking on the wrong side of the road, and that complicates it even further.
And it's
And
probably,
when you're,
I'm sorry.
when you're coming from the east and heading west, you approach and you hit that curve, and just around the curve is all of a sudden the mini golf course.
And it's a seasonal deal too, I suspect.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. All right, so we'll just refer that to legislative.
I think so.
Okay. Item 11, June disbursement vouchers. Any questions on them?
I just had a comment on the public safety weather siren. I see we budgeted like $23,000 to
Yep.
fix it, and it only came in at $58.12?
No.
Or no, okay. I was like,
Wrong.
whoa. All right.
We couldn't be so lucky. It is the total cost that we had to make a deposit payment to them. Apparently, town government doesn't have enough rating. I can tell you the good news: the siren will be going up Thursday, and then we'll get the bill for the rest of it.
Thank you. We got the bill right.
Oh, we did.
Paid, but we got it.
Makes the first half of the fiscal year look good, so.
I just wanted to comment a little bit. The word vouchers. All right. Anything there? Nothing else? Okay, we're good. Operator licenses, we have a new list in front of us, right?
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion for the one-year license to be approved for Crystal Green at Jammers, Tammy Leach at Poorhouse, Derek Matikowski at Aquaskiers, Autumn Monroe for Bud's Corner Mart, Jacob Mush for Poorhouse, Gordon Tim, Aquaskiers, Nicole Tim, Bud's Corner Mart, and Michael Weiber, Aquaskiers.
Second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the operator license applications? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I have an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Monthly reports from committees. Maintenance. Road work is starting to move along finally. Plantation Court is all shaped up. Just a little touch-up to do it with it, and we expect that late next week that will be blacktop. And then the other subdivisions that we have, the Brandwood, the Abbey Lane and other areas, and Blueberry, that road work is scheduled to start on August 10th with the grinding happening right away on then, and then it will be followed up relatively quickly with the asphalting. So we should be done probably in 2 weeks at that time. Should be all done with road projects. I did get some more estimates for Lake Avenue. I'll make copies of that, I just got them today, and kind of share with you folks what the current thoughts are, how we can do that road next year. And I will be trying to apply for some grant money for that. As far as equipment goes, on the maintenance side, all the equipment except the Kubota tractor is working well. The Kubota has had a serious hesitation when it's mowing. It went back up to the dealership. They changed all the injectors on the engine, said it's fine. Found out today it's not fine, the same issue. So it will be going back up to the dealership in another week or two. There's a couple things what we need to use it for right now, and then we'll be able to put it away for a little bit. So that's it. No, it's up to Stevens Point or Plover. Service motors. Service motors. Any questions on maintenance? All right, we'll go down the list this time, change it up, huh? Plan Commission, Patty.
We met on June 22nd, and we approved Shane Roche, his zone from R2 to B1, commercial. There was Carla Crabb, who we gave a dog exemption permit for 3 dogs. And then also we indicated or recommended to the legislative committee or the town board to recommend to the town of Grand Rapids that we add to our sign ordinance regarding political campaign signs.
Okay. Any questions for the Plan Commission? Public Safety, Kathy?
Public safety did not meet.
WTA, Wisconsin Towns Association meeting, we all attended that ourselves. Very informative with Justin Connor going through the GIS system that the county has on the website that is very informative, easy to use, and I use it probably at least once a week looking for stuff. Airport Commission, Bill,
Yes.
Things going on over at Topham.
There's a lot of them.
A lot of planes in there, I guess.
Yes, and the fuel policy that we have, we're kind of changing that, how the FBO or the airport administrator, whether you sell it on premises or not, we're having a meeting this Thursday on that. One of the other things we discussed was we may be changing our way of administrating, or for the FBO, changing that to maybe 2 positions, maybe 1 position. But we're having a meeting on that with some outside people as to how it would be. Kathy, if you got anything on that, I'd like to just talk to you about it. He was there when we went, I believe, to just 1. Or was it Arnie?
I think Arnie was there to go to 1. I was there when Ron left, and we didn't really replace Ron per se.
That's the problem we have. Now we're thinking we need somebody like that.
Oh, okay.
And then one of the biggest things that's coming to the airport is the fact that the golf course in the town of Rome, and we're consulting with legal to get maybe the town of Rome to be part of the commission, because there's a lot can be done, because Rome, in order to get that golf course in there, they got a grant to put that in.
They can use some of their TIF funds.
We can use some of their TIP funds maybe for our airport improvements. Also, there's a hangar being built on the airport right now, and it's in the city is where it's being built. But there's another one going to be built maybe in 2 years next to it. So that's quite an improvement. Our big thing is now we have to get with the trees, and there's a lot of people concerned in the town of Grand Rapids, along with the city and the village of Port Edwards, as to it's going to cost a lot of money to get that tree down in my yard, So.
What you're referring to, Bill, for the public is tree height maximums are required by the FAA. They can't be any higher on what's called the glide path is out there,
Yeah.
what they call a reference to. And of course, citizens are being told that they're going to have to trim those trees or remove them. And obviously, somebody's got a big tree that's been there for 40, 50 years. It's pretty nice right now to get a notice that you're going to have to move it or lose it is probably not something I'd want to have either.
1948, they all signed an agreement over there that they wouldn't let trees grow above that height. So it has never been. 1970 was the last time they did it. So every 20 years they have to do it. It wasn't done in 1990, wasn't done in the 20-year period. So now we're stuck with that. People have lost. So it's a big deal, but we're meeting at City Hall Thursday night.
Well, the alternative is to lose our FAA funding, so I'm sure we're going to have to try to accommodate them somehow.
And thank you, Arnie, for coming to that meeting. That was quite a lengthy meeting. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I enjoyed the meeting. I haven't been to one for quite a while. And I did attend their last fly-in where they had a burger and food, and boy, some of them people can cook some nice stuff up. I think there's another one coming in later in
Yes.
is it this month yet, Bill?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but we're trying to get Howard to get that information out.
Okay, once he gets that, get it to Judy and we'll blast it out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that was one good burger meal and the price is right, whatever you feel like putting in the kitty.
I was out of town.
Speaking of that fly-in stuff, has there been any conversation ever around, so the fly-in, the EAA is coming up this month. Do we do anything at our airport for those individuals who fly in? Because I know we have individuals who do fly in and land
Yeah,
with us.
they do have shuttles here, to take people there. Yes, the
Okay.
EAA does. It could be quite a thing. Is that this weekend or next week?
It's next weekend, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's,
All the hotels will be filled. It's a good thing because it don't run with the ski show.
I think it's right after the ski show.
I know Howard always likes to lower his fuel prices a little bit so he tracks more planes. All right, we'll move on. Public buildings, Dan.
Well, the fire department building got scrubbed. Looked good. They did a good job in that. We did get an estimate from a local contractor on air conditioning for the police department. This individual didn't feel that it needed its own unit. He thought he could restructure some of the ductwork and it would get sufficient airflow back there, he says. And I did have that, and then fortunately that quote and that is sitting in Marshfield on my desk. So I forgot, but I would like to move pretty quickly on that. We don't need it in November, but I think we're going to need it coming up, so.
Dan, would you like me to share it with you?
Oh, you got it. Sure.
The changing of the ductwork was $375 plus $685 for cleaning the ducts. So for right around $1,000, we could do that. The long-term fix for is we need to replace those 57% efficient furnaces that we have with some 97. We have quotes on that, but we'll put that into next year's budget. But I just took the liberty to look into our budget, and there's plenty of money in maintenance for this building that we could go ahead with that. So we need to probably get that on the board's agenda for the 28th and go ahead and do that, or is that a maintenance item we could go ahead?
That was my question. Do we need a?
Smaller items we've never brought back to the board for a budgeted item.
All right.
We
You know,
haven't put
if
the
you-
freeze on yet, so
No.
we had to in the fall.
And we have money in maintenance.
Yeah, there's enough, there's sufficient, there's
Yeah.
more than sufficient. We could go ahead and do that, and that might
Yeah,
save the
'cause we had put
$3,000.
$3,500 in for
Yeah.
the air conditioning unit.
I'll call him tomorrow and see, because I do think he is very confident that that would take care of that.
Yeah.
And again, at budget time, we are going to look at the furnaces, the air conditioning, and the hot water heater.
All right, then the other thing on that is also the concrete work should be the third or fourth week of July.
Yeah, he was, he should be back here. He was gone up in Alaska. And when he got back, and I believe it's this week, he was going to get a hold of Don and talk about kind of a plan for the fire trucks and how that would work. And also, we'd get with Judy and that and talk about out here, sidewalk and that.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to hear from him this week.
Okay.
Get moving on that.
Yep. All right, we'll move to economic development. Anything?
Bill is on my committee with me, and we're going to meet July 20th.
Are
Okay.
you meeting with, is there anything specific?
The agenda is just pretty much what we're going to do is figure out what we want to do for goals and then how we are going to be marketing Grand Rapids.
Okay.
I provided a lot of that data that we had from Mel's safest
Already on the
stats,
website.
and we've got some of that posted there. So they're going to try to market that a little bit. Recycling, solid waste bill, anything else?
Yes, I mentioned, I called Arnie today, and I'm going to pick up those containers. They're very expensive container, and Advanced Disposal said we could have 6 of them free of charge.
I'm sorry, 96-gallon containers is what you said?
And looked them up on the internet, and they're a considerable price for them. So hope they'd be good to store them, and
Just for special events, you're going to use them?
yeah, I would think once we get them here, we can talk about that. Like, even rent them out to people that's having a special event. They're free, so if we don't like them, we can use something else.
Choose to reuse is coming up.
All right, next one is legislative. They have not met, but we will meet. Personnel committee, anything new?
Personnel just met and talked about the safety awards and then talked about the cleaning position, which you'll go into closed session for.
Okay. Reports from individual board members. Bill?
Yes, I had the fireworks this year. I don't know if any of you people got calls, but I did, and I personally think they were horrendous. Some people had said they had called the police, and the police wanted to know if they knew who it was or could identify them. And I just thought that the fireworks that went off in the town of Grand Rapids was an awful lot more than I've ever noticed before.
You're talking illegal fireworks, or?
They're fireworks. I don't know if they're illegal or not, but I could show you some of them that come in our yard.
I would agree with you, Bill, on the fireworks. I heard more this year than I've heard before. I thought there were gunshots going off in the neighborhood, and then find out, then it dawned on you, oh, it's the 4th of July, it's fireworks.
And I don't say
I
this
never called,
just because I'm a veteran, but, you know, I wasn't in combat. But you take some of these Vietnam veterans and people coming home, in some of the cities, you can put a sign out in your yard and say you're a vet. Because some people that are veterans that have been over there 2 or 3 times, they get a reoccurrence, and then even, I think it was even in Marshfield where they asked the people right over the radio. So, but yes, they were.
I believe Minocqua, they did the same thing. They had big yard signs and stuff out there if you wanted to. And you can more or less consider it of a veteran if they had one and people were. I don't know how it worked, but we did see a couple of them.
And also with the storm that came up, you know, I was even at a safety meeting, the county safety meeting where the emergency government worked. And I said, you know, I didn't hear any sirens. And I guess they were waiting for me to say that. I didn't hear any sirens in the town of Grand Rapids. And I believe we have 5 or 7 of them in this town. And I didn't hear one. But this is what I heard at the safety meeting, and it was held up in Marshfield. And it says, those are outside sirens. They're not supposed to penetrate in your house. And besides that, The shift commander has to be called if you want the sirens to blow, because otherwise they'll blow only if they get a call from the Weather Bureau up in Green Bay. So, you know, I just say,
So do we know the shift commander didn't call, or?
no, they didn't answer me.
I wasn't home, so I couldn't tell you what took place.
Yeah, I one time had questioned Steve Cruiser about the sirens when Northwood County's getting hit really hard and we're beautiful sunny out,
Yeah.
and why are our sirens going off? And all I was ever told is that if he makes that, that office makes that decision, and then all Wood County sirens go, or no Wood County sirens go. That's what I was told.
Well, that policy
I've
has
never
changed
heard
after
that
that.
just Grand Rapids can blow their sirens and nobody else. That's the first I've heard of that.
I always thought it was north and south.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
It has changed because they were ready for me to ask the questions because I had called emergency government about it. But they were all ready for me and said that what those sirens are for. They're outside sirens. They're not meant to go in the house. Some people get mad when the sirens go off and they wake up old people. That's all I can tell you. And then one more thing. And Mel, I had talked to Tammy about the fact that that grant for Highway 54, did she tell you about it?
Yes, she did.
Okay. There's a grant out for Highway 54 because Highway 54 is the most of the people that travel Highway 54, they speed the most on that highway. A report come out. So I think it's the state of Wisconsin or somebody else is got to give it a lot of grant money, and you have to use overtime to do it. And they said it's only 4 counties.
I can fill you in more,
Okay,
Bill, when we have it, but that grant money you're talking about, that was specifically for what the state is pushing as task force, where you have multi-jurisdictional, and they're looking for these main thoroughfares, Highway 54, Highway 13, Highway 73, and they're looking for multi-jurisdictional task force. We are not part of that task force. I was in the initial meeting, but we can go in, I can give you more details offline here.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
All right, Dan.
Bill took my 2 minutes.
Oh.
That's the next item on the agenda.
Oh,
Patty.
okay.
Good.
You're good. Chris, you got anything?
I do not.
Kathy?
I just want to, I'm going to pass this to each of you. It's our, you can take one, Judy. It's the safety manual for our town. And a while back, a draft safety manual was sent out to all of us asking for some input. Judy incorporated some comments that were received or addressed them if it wasn't appropriate to incorporate them. And then I took what was the final content, put it into a format. And so now we need to do one more set of eyes at this to make sure that we're not repeating ourselves throughout the section. When you start reading this, it's like, gosh, should I just read that somewhere? Or, so if everyone would take some time to look at it, then we'll put it on the agenda for our next meeting. And that will give us time between now and then to adopt it if it's in final format. So good, thanks.
Judy? A couple things. Seeing as how Don wasn't here, I should remind the public that tomorrow, July 15th, 2 to 6 p.m. at the fire station is our every 6-week blood drive. Again, this is 2 to 6 p.m. If you're able to give blood and come there, we typically will receive 40 to 50 pints of blood from donors, which is very much appreciated. And the time for giving blood is right now. Summer is the hardest time for the blood banks to keep up. So if you're eligible to and can, you can do a walk-in or you could call for make an appointment. On a disturbing note, Grand Rapids lost some more land to the city of Wisconsin Rapids. Through the Water and Light Commission, they purchased 64 acres of land. Approximately, it's on Wazeecha Avenue at approximately 65th to 69th Street. That was at one time part of the Hess family tree farm. It was sold off. Waterworks and Lighting bought it. One of the officials of there did call me to tell me when it was final that they were buying it. And the reason for buying it was for wellhead protection. They have another well which would be directly to the south of that on Griffith Avenue. And then he said, or a possible future well site. Back in 1990, this town had a real serious court case going, and it took a long time to settle it with the city of Wisconsin Rapids when they put that well in over on Griffith Avenue. We eventually lost because the terminology of the law is the water belongs to everybody. It doesn't just belong to Grand Rapids. So my concern on this one, and we need to watch it, is the placement of it. As you all know, there's a coning influence or a funnel type of effect where the immediate area that it is draws down and then it tapers off. Depending how close they place it to 64th Street could affect Lake Wazeecha and the waters that feed Lake Wazeecha, formerly the various creeks that. So I have my concerns. I have a lot of data that in storage from the previous court case, and I hope at this point in time that they just leave it for wellhead protection and don't file any papers to put a well there. So if you hear anything through the ground, as they say, let your town officials know, because we want to stay on top of it.
Artie, what is the permitting process for those wells?
They have to go through the state, is it WPC, Bill, is that what it is? I'm not sure what's the
DNR.
It's the DNR, but it's actually not the DNR that approves it. Terminology of the acronyms, I can't think right offhand, was public service. Wisconsin Public Service, I believe it is, that actually is the authority that can set the well up. I do know right now that the town of Hall is having issues with a well that the city of Stevens Point placed in their area that's drying up the wells. The agreement that we ended up getting with Wisconsin Rapids in 1990 on that well is they were obligated to replace any wells that dried up for a period of years, certain period of years. They had to replace the wells at no charge to the people, certain radius of that.
And they did.
And they did. So that was the only resolution that the town had. But in most cases, I can tell you that those wells had to be driven deeper, and deeper the water was, the poorer the quality of the water. So all those people that had good wells, and I can tell you, I was in one of those aquifers that from 12 to 20 foot of water, that water was crystal clear. It had zero rust on any of my concrete that I had in my previous house. Now with my new house, which is only 100 feet away from that well, we drilled a well in and we're down at 57 feet and I have rust. But that's, so they said they had to go to. So I just want that's my main concern, and I want people to stay on top of this. I want people to understand that. I'll keep providing any information to the public as I can once I find it.
So one more question, as far as when you said we lost 64 acres, it's
right.
Because of the fact that it's a public works or a utility, and it goes to the village, city, town, or whatever that particular utility resides in, or is.
Yeah, it still stays in Grand Rapids. They did not annex it, but we lose the taxing authority that we had on the land.
You mean because they owned it before, they still pay taxes on it?
No.
Oh.
They're buying this new piece that's this.
Oh, they're buying a new piece.
Yeah, they bought this new 64 acre piece for $190-some thousand, so they paid plenty of money for it. But they didn't accept my bid. All right. Any questions for me other than that? All right, if not, establishing next agenda, anybody got any specific items? If not, you know the process to get them to me or the clerk, and we'll consider doing on it. Again, the closing public input, people wishing to address the board, limited to 2 minutes each, with public input limited to 60 minutes. I believe you had some over there where you were. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you. Do I take the podium or?
You can stand right there. The camera's right there for you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members, and thank you for the invite today, Judy. And Chief Ben, good to see you. On Tuesday, July 28th, from about 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., there will be an open house event. And the open house event will be at 6710 Clover Road in Rapids. The former Rapid Express building, Mitch's Place. And this open house event, this is for people who are looking, hopefully, to start their own business, who might be looking to expand their current business. But you know, every time we have those thoughts, there's always those how-to questions. How do we do this? What permits do we need for this? What does the law say about this, et cetera, et cetera. And this is being hosted by my wife and I, Jennifer, being sponsored by the Nakusa Port Edward State Bank, and this is also in conjunction with the part of Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce. And what we're really looking to do is, the building is for sale. Quite frankly, that's our #1 priority, to sell the building. But we're having this open house event. We're going to have an attorney there. We're going to have CPAs there. We're going to have marketing people there. What else, Jennifer? Who else we have? Lenders, bankers, and this is going to be an informal type thing. There's going to be no booths or anything, just an informal type. We'll have refreshments there and stuff to drink, water and soda pop. And we're looking for maybe 2, 3, 4 people, 5 people, maybe 10 people in this town who are entrepreneurs, have an idea, but just don't know where to go and where to get started. And we're hoping that they'll show up at this thing, since we will have hopefully enough of brain trust there to help them along, and do whatever we can for them. Hopefully, maybe to bring another business or two into the community. So,
can you wrap up real quick and give the address again so people can go? We've
yes, it's 6710 Clover Road. It's right next door to Altenberg's, across the street from the cemetery.
Thank you very much.
And that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to speak to the board, or Mr. Head?
I was into our website the other day, or probably about 3 weeks ago, and the commissions list is pretty well dated, for what it's worth.
Working on things.
Could use some updates.
I mean, like I didn't update that since May?
And at the annual meeting, I had about a half a dozen goals and expectations for the board to accomplish in 2015.
So is this your 6-month report?
Kind of blank.
This is our report card.
When Arnie, when you were talking about this sale of the land here, one of the things I was kind of hoping we could get to is a legislative contact person or committee that, not your legislative committee like we're running now, but a person or a committee that could reach out to a legislator or whoever when we've got some issues that will have some credibility. Hey, I'm from Grand Rapids and I'm representing the town of Grand Rapids, and we need some help here or something. So,
Quite frankly, we get we received a lot of what we call alerts from the Wisconsin Towns Association on legislation that was being proposed through emails to us and asking us to reply to our local legislators. And I find that the local legislators will actually talk to me. If I call one in another district, it's just I never get a return call. But Scott Krug is very easy to address and communicate with. So
I've spoken, or I've emailed Scott Krug, and he has returned his emails, so he does return.
All right, anybody else? Go ahead. Mel first and then Eljoy.
One thing I forgot to mention during my monthly report, I want to publicly thank Attorney Dan Woods for his service to the town as their town attorney for how many years, Judy?
5.
5 years, okay. As many of you know, he was elected to a judgeship down in Adams County, and so he had to, I think, reluctantly resign here and to move on to bigger and better things, I guess, down in Adams County. But I just want to say, you know, it was in the year and a half that I've been here, it was a pleasure working with him, and I think he provided excellent service for the town, not only on our end, on the police department, but from Judy's end, the town board, and I just want to publicly thank him for his service, and we were sorry to see him go.
Eljoy?
Okay,
Miss-
I'm frustrated over knowing what, whatever you call it, I can't even think of the right word, but you know, ordinances. In the city of Wisconsin Rapids, we call it ordinances, and I think you have ordinances.
Yes, we do.
And I've come here and asked, and they say, well, they're in the book, 72 pages if you want to read them. And well, I haven't got time to sit down and read 72 pages. And I don't think most people know what the ordinances are. And if they did know, they're not enforced.
Okay,
Do you have a fire ordinance?
sure do.
How close can you burn next to a house?
I have no idea. That's something that the fire chief would have to look at.
So now, right next door to us is an illegal lot according to what the rules are today. But it has a house that was put on back in the old days, and it just got sold. Well, for 2 years it was empty. There's more wild animals living over there in that house. They're coming over. I caught 40 chipmunks myself, 42 chipmunks I caught. Well, anyhow, because I had to, because my husband died this year and I had to do everything myself. Okay, so now they moved in. For 2 years, the garbage has been piled up for 4 feet high on our line. Old plastic cans and every kind of thing like that. Nobody does anything about it. All they have to do is set it out on the curb and it would be picked up, but nobody does it. So now somebody bought it and they're moving in. There were 6 cars there bringing them stuff. And all of a sudden I noticed this smoke. And I looked in here, they had an open bonfire right a little way off the house with 6 people sitting around it. Well, now in the city of Wisconsin Rapids, you can't build an open bonfire closer than 50 feet from a house.
That's a question we'd have to ask the fire chief, and I'll ask him when next time I see him.
What do you do that time of night when there's something like that going on? And how do you enforce they're putting out the garbage?
If any, well, that's long and short of it is if it's a illegal activity, the police department gets involved. Call the Wood County Sheriff's Department on their, if it's emergency, their 911 line on. If it's not, their standard telephone number, they'll dispatch your Grand Rapids officer to look at it.
And they know what the rule is about how many feet you'd have to be back from a residence?
They will find out. If they don't know it, they will find out.
Okay, that's good. Well, there was a building that they put on our line, and for 2 years it's been there. Now they just got an order that they had to move it, but you know, you're supposed to stay back with a building 9 feet from the property line. They had it on our property line for 2 years, and nobody ever made a move.
And nobody ever notified the town that it was on your
Oh, yes.
property line for 2 years.
Oh, yes.
Well, then the building inspector would have taken it. The zoning administrator, that's their job if they get a complaint like that.
Okay, they got a letter saying they had a deadline of a month later, so now they moved it a little ways, but I don't think it's 9 feet from our property line. Not only that, but the fences in your ordinances are beautiful fences, but the good side has to face the neighbors. And-
Pleasing sight.
Okay, now, you ought to see their fences.
So is this on
They didn't know what the rule was.
Next to her.
Over on Wazeecha.
We live
Wazeecha
right
Avenue.
along the lake, and one of the houses, there just one house from us sold for $429,000 this last month.
All right, well, Joy, I hate to tell you this, but you've used up your time and probably the next 2 bits' time. I would suggest if you got issues, that our police department is here to serve you. Our office is here. They'll take your
I've been there many times.
questions and they'll try to answer them to the best of our ability, the legal ability that we can. And we'll, is there anybody else have anything this evening for us? If not, this board's got a lot more work to do tonight, so the Grand Rapids Town Board is going to move into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Stats 1985, Prin 1, Prin F. Consider personal histories of specific persons of which, if discussed in public, would likely, please, I have the floor, ma'am, would likely to have substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any person referred to in such data. To discuss the denial of an operator license for Joe Mallard in Wisconsin Stats 1985, Prin 1, Prin C, consider employment compensation data of any public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, discuss letters of interest for the cleaning position, and discuss the clerk's position. Is there anybody wishing to make that motion that I so do the police, beautifully spoke? Thanks, Patty.
Second.
Second by Dan. Roll call vote. Kathy?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Patty?
Aye.
Arnie and I, we're in closed session. We thank you folks very much for your attendance, and we hope to see you again.